the arrival. I came in the league, went straight for the title. No time to idle. I'm finna get it, put that on the Bible. This is survival. Gotta treat every move made like the final. One by a mile. Nobody believe it, they all in denial. Look at me, look at me. Still in the show, that's the crook in me. They want me gone with the hook in me. Asking why is he here like I shouldn't be. I've been on grind since Otto. 10,000 hours the motto. They see the bag is coming out and flocking to me like I won the lotto. Dancing with the devil, there's no recital. I'm killing competition, ain't no revival. I shoot it to kill it, I'm aiming for vitals. I'm showing no mercy when facing my rivals. Snakes in the grass, they getting exposed. I know they be lurking, I'm watching them close. Acting like friends, but really they foes. Saw they be scheming and set out of yoke.
Day here at Wilson Field, but this matchup is going to be even hotter. You know, I'm just really excited to see everyone put their best on the line today. My name is Angelique Ramirez, here with Zoe Franklin. How you feeling, Zoe?
I am feeling pumped tonight for some football, Angelique. We have a great matchup tonight. The Chapman Panthers taking on the Claremont Mudscript Stags, the undefeated team. But before we get into that, we're going to take a look at the Chapman Panthers in their last two matchups between the Redland Bulldogs and the Cal Lutheran Kingsmen. Let's roll it.
Fuentes lines up upper center. He tosses it to Isaiah Pacheco in motion, who then pitches it back to Nathaniel Espinoza. Seeing his main man downfield, he finds Amir Adams with daylight in front of him, and all he has to do is stroll into the end zone to give his second receiving touchdown of the season. These trick plays are what can give Chapman that extra boost and those tight contests forward. 4 minutes left before halftime, and running back Gio Ursino handed the ball with Chapman in the red zone. Some great blocking from the Chapman offense, but from there it was all Ursino. A quick burst to change his direction upfield, added with his signature nifty juke, powered the Panthers into their third touchdown of the half. 3:14 left in the third quarter. Tyler Tremaine looks for the right for his guy, but DB Kyle Sieben jumps the route, picking off the pass and giving Chapman some hope heading into the final quarter. This is Sieben's first interception of the season, a great way for the sophomore to establish himself in the secondary room out of the gate. Gio Ursino handed the ball running left before cutting it up the field for a big gain into the red zone. Ursino's great vision and some key blocking from Chapman really opened up the run game for the Panthers in this one. Nathaniel Espinoza under center is going with a long play fake before looking downfield where he's got who else but Amir Adams. The deep ball of 44 yards would ignite the drive into full gear, leading to a 2-yard punch in by Gio Ursino to put the Panthers up by 7.
Hope is definitely going to be the key word today here, you know. These Claremont Mudscripts are 4-0, and sadly our Chapman Panthers haven't won a game yet, but we're hoping for great results tonight.
Absolutely. Hope is the word tonight as the Chapman Panthers are looking for their first win here at home. They're 0-3. Claremont Mudscripts, as Angelique said, 4-0. But if we take a look at these two teams, we'll see that their stats aren't too different. The only real difference, those wins and losses. So let's take a look at those third down conversions as we see Claremont 22-61, Chapman 13-35. Not a huge gap there.
Oh yeah, definitely. If you see points per game, 29.8 for the Stags, 19.67 for the Panthers. That's not too far off. Still not great for the Panthers there, so they're going to be looking to be even better tonight.
Absolutely. This Chapman offense and defense has had to deal with a lot of change in a small amount of time. This offense has really had to adjust with quarterbacks, running backs, injuries. And to tell us all about that, we're going to toss it down to our sideline reporter, Sophia Youngs. Sophia?
Ladies, thank you so much. Well, as we know, this is one killer matchup with the Chapman Panthers going against the Claremont Mudscripts. However, with a killer matchup comes with some killer difficulties. With Espinoza potentially out for the rest of the season due to a leg injury, and Tyler Peresco in as the new quarterback, the real question is, how is this team going to connect with one another? And most importantly, how are they going to perform tonight? Ladies, back to you.
Thank you, Sophia. That's definitely a great way to put it. Tyler Pacheco, new out here, first time starting, so it's definitely important that he has key pieces around him. And you know who also has key pieces around him? Walter Kuhlenkamp. Why don't we talk about some of them right now?
Absolutely. If we look at those Claremont key players, if we start on the defense, we're going to talk about number 26, Jacob O'Connell, the reigning SCIAC Defensive Player of the Week. He's got 19 total tackles on the year, 2 interceptions, and 2 receiving touchdowns, including in an opening drive last week against the Pomona Pitzer Sagehens, which put them on the board. Moving on to the offense for the Claremont Stags, we have number 45, Justin Edwards. Expect to hear his name a lot tonight. He's a running back with 269 yards on the year and 5 touchdowns in just 4 games. He has been an absolute force on the field and something that the Chapman defense is going to have to look really hard to stop.
Oh yeah, definitely. But Chapman has their own stars here on the offense as well. One of those key pieces is Gio Ursino. He's got 27 attempts, 3.6 of average, yards per game, and he's got 2 touchdowns. It may not seem like a lot, but his impact is definitely felt on the field. It's very important for this Chapman offense to let him just work, And then speaking of offenses, they're nothing without a great defense to also back them up. And on defense, we have Alexander Tariquez. Alexander hasn't played, the first 2 games, but he's been in these last 2 games. He's definitely made an impact on the field, and it's very important for this Chapman defense that he stays out there and he is hungry. He's got 13 total tackles, 3 tackles for loss for 20 yards and 2 sacks for a loss of 17 yards. That's very important when we're talking about defenses. He could be a game changer tonight.
Absolutely. We've talked a lot about defenses. A name we've heard here on CSBN is Cade Jordan. Him and Alexander Tariquez playing the same position as that inside linebacker. But a position we haven't talked too much about today, we've kind of teased it, as the quarterback position. We have Walter Kuhlenkamp and Tyler Pacheco. Angelique, why don't you introduce that for us today?
Yeah, definitely. These are 2 mobile quarterbacks, so this is going to be a bit of a challenge for these defenses as they have to go up against people who can get out of the pocket, scramble, and make things happen with their legs. You see there, they have Walter Kuhlenkamp has 56 average rushing yards. Tyler Pacheco has 31. Now that could be deceiving because he hasn't been the starter in his last 2 games, so it's really important he gets this rep here as a starter and he's able to show Chapman and everyone really what he's got here.
Absolutely. One thing to talk about these quarterbacks that can be a factor is height. Walter Kuhlenkamp's 6'5", Tyler Pacheco 6'2". The difference may be experience. This is, as you said, Tyler Pacheco's first time as a starter. He's usually brought in as the backup option for Nathaniel Espinoza. And this week he's had a full week to prepare, have the offense build around him, have the defense prepare for a mobile quarterback like Walter Kuhlenkamp, who they see in Pacheco.
Oh, definitely. It's really important for an offense to get used to their leader at quarterback. And with Nathaniel Espinoza out, it's a bit different. Nathaniel Espinoza, we've known him to really drive the ball with his feet, but also to really pass it and get it around the field to his key playmakers like Amir Adams, to Gio Ursino. So it's going to be very important that this offense really adjusts and takes their time and really just gets those first downs when they can.
Absolutely. As we talk about these Chapman players, we have to talk about the atmosphere here. It's going to be Wilson Field, and here at Wilson Field we have the national anthem, and we're going to toss it down for that performance by Kara Tangenberg.
By the dawn's early light, what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched, banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Thank you, Karen.
What an amazing, song, not song, but singing by our national anthem singer, Kara Tangenberg. Very high notes. What a set of pipes on her.
Absolutely. And beautiful performance and beautiful song. It's a difficult song if you've never sung the national anthem. But regardless, it's all part of the football package here at Wilson Field. Speaking of Wilson Field, we had a chance to talk about a couple key players, but there are some pieces of this Chapman offense that I think we should talk about that you might have heard here on CSBN before, one of them being Amir Adams.
Well, definitely. Amir Adams is the go-to guy downfield. You'll usually find him on big passes that Nathaniel Espinoza has had. He is a playmaker. He just opens things up for this entire offense, and he's really a key piece to the structure of this offense.
Absolutely. And this Chapman offense has been used to a throwing quarterback for a long time. If you look back, even before Nathaniel Espinoza, look at quarterback Johnston McIntyre, who was part of that team who took the Chapman Panthers all the way to the SCIAC championship. He too was a throwing quarterback, so they've been used to so long just passing the football and getting those large receiving passes. So now they're finally having to adjust with a quarterback who likes to use his feet as his primary mobile method.
Oh, yeah, definitely. As well, the defense of CMS is going to have to be prepared for things like this, but I wouldn't be too worried if I were them. They've got key stars on their defense, like Emmett King III. He's been a real impact player here on this defense. May not have been the SCIAC player of the week, but he is definitely going to get out there and get after the quarterback. So it's going to be up to Chapman's offensive line to make sure that they protect Tyler Pacheco and give him enough time to make decisions.
Absolutely. This CMS defense has had two key players in the SCIAC, 2 players of the week, excuse me. The other one being Thanio Bright, another safety who has just been a power player, just protecting the ball on those long passes, and just a very key player on this defense for them.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And now we're seeing that they're going to be going out to the middle of the field for the coin toss. So excited to see how this game starts off here, who's kicking, who's receiving, because that could mean a lot to this game.
Absolutely. We see those captains lining up, getting ready to make their march onto the field. Wonder if Chapman, if they win it, if they're going to choose to receive or choose to
defer.
Give it away.
Yeah,
to defer.
I mean, it's going to be a very important decision here because you want to start off strong if you're on the offensive Chapman, because it's going to be very important to keep your hopes up. So you want long drives. You want a touchdown on this beginning drive, and that's just going to be key. So this is going to determine a lot.
Absolutely. We're going to toss it down to the field for that coin toss.
Captains for the Stags are Anderson Sinkar and Joey Asano.
Claremont has won the toss, elected to defer. Chapman will receive on this end of the field.
coin toss here. Chapman's going to get it first. I think this is a very important thing for Chapman, you know, going on offense first, giving Pacheco a good deal of confidence. It's just about how this first drive goes.
Absolutely. We do not want to see, if you're Chapman, you don't want them to get a pick six. You don't want them to intercept and take away all your momentum before it even begins.
Oh yeah, it's going to be very important for this offensive line to protect their quarterback. It's always important, of course, but it's going to be even more important tonight that they get in synergy, they're in sync, and everyone is ready where they're supposed to be.
Absolutely. Let's take a look at this matchup video between these two teams.
Well, this matchup, you know, it's going to be very important for Chapman just to get a little bit of hope. That's what we keep reiterating here. And I think their quarterback is going to give them a little bit of hope tonight.
Absolutely. As we see these teams, they're going to start lining up, taking their positions on the field, getting ready. Chapman hoping for that first win. Claremont hoping to keep their streak alive of a perfect record. We see those two head coaches, Bob Owens and Kyle Sweeney, ready for the game to begin.
Now we're going to see the kickoff here. Set to return is number 21, number 21.
And here we go. Kickoff by number 17, Samuel Brewer. That receive is by number 21, number 27, excuse me, all the way up to the 50-yard line. That is exactly the start Chapman needed. They needed their offense to come in with a punch, and they got it. Might not be a knockout, but it definitely puts the momentum into that Chapman offense. And speaking of them, we're seeing that starting lineup. We start off with the offensive line, but moving into that, we talked about quarterback, we talked about running back, we talked a little bit about wide receiver, but let's just reiterate just how important it is that all these pieces come together, especially if you're Amir Adams or Gio Ursino.
Oh, definitely. You want to make sure that, you know, everything is a well-oiled machine here. We're going to see a pass here, and it is caught by number 8, Amir Adams. All the way down, about the 4-yard mark here. That is amazing. That's exactly what you need if you're Chapman's offense, to get pumped up right from the beginning. Somebody can always count on Amir Adams. You see here, O-line protects him, has enough time. He just tosses it out, airs it out. We talked about him being a mobile quarterback. He can throw too. Never give this man a doubt.
Absolutely. It seems that time, that week to build around Tyler Pacheco is paying off right now, as the Chapman already in the red zone.
Yeah, now we see Tyler Pacheco here, Gio Ursino. He's going to hand it off. He's going to try and run through. Actually, it's a fake. He's going to run into the end zone. That's a touchdown for Chapman.
Oh my word. Touchdown in the first 49 seconds of the game. Hello, Chapman. We're here to stay.
This was very important to happen on the first play, you know. Oh, it seems we had a flag on the play. So we're going to see, might be coming back here. Now this might be a bit of stunt to their momentum, but overall, being able to accomplish that on your first drive, incredible.
Now we're just waiting for the call here. If it turns out that Chapman takes back that touchdown, could be a huge blow.
Yeah, it seems like that touchdown's not going to count, but this isn't going to stop this Chapman offense here. Oh, it seems we may have another flag on the play.
Just a little bit of confusion right now seems to be on the field. There was a huge momentum shift.
False start. Number 11, offense. 5-yard penalty, first down.
False start on GM Logman. That's not great. That's not what you want after you have so much momentum going into this drive. But it's not over yet. You know, third down. There's still magic that can happen here.
Absolutely.
We gotta see Tyler Pacheco. He's gonna keep it. He's gonna run with it. He's gonna get out of bounds around the 10-yard mark here.
Out of bounds is a 9-yard line.
9-yard line, excuse me. Very mobile quarterback. This is exactly what we expected him to do, to be able to get out of there, use his legs. He's able to feel when there's pressure coming on him and get out of there. You know, we want to protect our players as well. We don't want any injuries here. Sets Gio Arcino into motion. He's going to keep it. Oh, and he's brought down, unfortunately, by that defense, that CMS defense. Always formidable.
Just absolutely stuffed right there in the pocket. Nowhere for him to go. That O-line just completely collapsed around him. This defense, if they're starting to figure him out already, that could be a bad sign for the Panthers. So it'll be interesting to see how he adjusts. He's been running towards that right hash mark. We'll see if he can utilize looking to the left, maybe.
Yeah. If you're Chapman's offense, you don't like this slowdown. The game's getting slow. You want it to be fast. You want it to be hard. And you just want to go after it. So it's very important that we keep this momentum up and that they get through on this third down. He's going to run it out. He's going to keep it. He's going to toss it. Oh, and that's an interception by number 26.
That is Jacob O'Connell, and we saw something very similar happen against the Claremont Mudscripts and Pomona Pitzer last week. Jacob O'Connell got an interception, and it brought them their first score on that pick six.
You see right there, he has a lot of pressure coming towards him. He just airs it out, and unfortunately, you know, it ends up in the hands of CMS's defense. That's not what you want. You know, after having such a brilliant start, your special teams makes it really easy for you at around the 50. It's just really unfortunate here.
But now we're going to have to see how they adjust. CMS's offense onto the field now. Chapman defense stepping up for the first time tonight.
Yeah, we're going to see Camp out here, see what he does. He's also very mobile. He's going to keep it. He's going to toss it out to number 20 here. And he's going to be brought down around the 19-yard line.
That was number 20, Anderson Sinkar, on the receiving end.
Anderson Sinkar is someone he likes to target a lot when it comes to his wide receivers. We talk about Justin Edwards being a go-to guy. Sinkar is definitely a go-to guy as well.
Absolutely.
They're going to see Camp. He's got Justin Edwards right behind him. Gonna hand off to Justin Edwards. He's gonna go up, just physical, pushes through linemen, is able to make it to around the 30-yard line.
Justin Edwards is a carry. Brought down.
And if we were watching up here in the booth, it's a little hard to see, but if I wasn't mistaken, there was a little bit of motion on the defensive side. Could have been called for an offside. Chapman defense is lucky that that didn't get called. Just adding, you don't want to give any more momentum to these Claremont Stags any sooner than you have to.
No, you don't. Mistakes are definitely going to be killer in this game, so you want to make sure you minimize them as much as possible. We got handoff. I think that's going to be a third down. We'll see. Yep, third down here. Couldn't find anything, but that doesn't mean that's going to stop them.
But it does mean that the special teams are going to be coming on for the Claremont Stags, which is exactly what Chapman wanted. Get that defense off the field and bring your offense back on and try and get your momentum back.
And we have Amir Adams set to return this punt, sorry. Gonna take it, go try and run, gain anything he can here. Comes off around the 38-yard line. Again, not bad field, you know. Could have ended up at the 20, the 10, but that's great for field position if you're Chapman right now.
Absolutely. And Amir Adams, he gets over 100 yards a game. He is their punt returner and their wide receiver, the receptor of those long passes and those long punt returns. He knows how to run. He knows how to be the open man. So Amir Adams averaging well over 100 this season and hoping for him to continue that.
Now, if you're this offense, you really want to get back into your groove here, and that's all going to start right here with this drive. He's going to take it. He's going to keep it. He's going to toss it off to Amir Adams. Good gain a little bit of yardage here, about the 37, 38, actually where they started.
Couple yard gain for the Panthers, 2nd and 6, right about the 40-yard line. We've talked about Amir Adams on CSBN quite a bit. What do you think it is about him that is just so explosive for this offense?
I just think it's the way that he can, maneuver throughout the defense, get past people, and just get wide open. That's very key when it comes to this offense, just making sure you have guys who can get wide open and make plays. You need playmakers.
Absolutely. That play, though, absolutely stopped right in action. That was Tyler Pacheco doing another quarterback carry.
Yeah, we talked about him being a mobile quarterback here, but maybe we do need to see him passing a little bit more. He had that great pass earlier. Maybe we need to just see him shake off these nerves. You have a really good first drive, ends up being intercepted, not what you wanted. Maybe that's starting to hurt his confidence just a little bit.
But it's definitely not hurting fan morale as we are just a few minutes into this first quarter with much more football to go.
Gonna try and reach for any inches you can. But that's gonna be a 4th down right there. That's very unfortunate if you're Chapman's offense. You want to stay on the field as long as possible. You want to keep your defense, healthy. You want them to stay just very active because this offense of CMS is very active.
Absolutely. It'll be interesting to see what Kuhlenkamp does. We've talked about him being mobile, having the run option with Justin Edwards and being able to throw it. But for now, we're just going to watch the punt by number 30, Owen Tapia.
We see this defense, come out into the field, all this swagger, but this offense, you just hope for a little bit more. You want to put your hope in this being just starting jitters. We haven't seen him start a lot. We've seen him come in at different points in the game. So maybe we just see this offense grow from these reps that they're getting right now, and we see them accomplish more as the game goes on.
Absolutely. But for now, we're going to see what the Stags do with their offensive on the line.
Walter Kuhlenkamp in the back. He's going to take it. He's going to toss it out to number 19. He's going to catch it, and he's going to be around the 45-yard line. Absolute zinger right there. Kuhlenkamp able to pass it, just being able to find your guys downfield, not be scared of this defense, and to just make your mark.
That was number 19, Bryce DeJardins. We see Kuhlenkamp just line it up, and Bryce DeJardins having all the space in the world to just make his play.
We talk about key guys here on this offense, but there are other pieces that they go to. Got to hand it off now. Just got to punch through, not scared of any defenders here. Just being able to rough and tumble it, put your shoulders down and really run through this defense of Chapman's.
Absolutely. We talked about key players, and that's one of them right there. Number 45, Justin Edwards. We talked about 2 45s today. Justin Edwards on the Claremont offense and 45 on the Chapman defense. Alex Tariquez. It'll be the battle of 45. We'll see who comes out on top.
Lost star power there. Excited to see what happens with this game. Well, we got Kuhlenkamp. He's got to keep it. He's got to toss it out. Oh, and unfortunately, he tosses it out. Just can't get it to his guy. A little high right there. Not exactly what you want, but I don't think this is going to deter them just one bit. It is 3rd down here. Both teams, both defenses making sure that the other team can't get anything going on offense. So this might be a battle of the defense in the end. We talk a lot about the offense, but the defense might really be the key here.
Absolutely. You saw on the screen there, part of that defense, that was number 6, Colin Keefe, one of their safeties, just really protecting that backfield, which Kuhlenkamp was going for, but couldn't get.
A2 in motion. Got to keep himself. He's got to try and toss it off, but he gets taken down. He tosses it out. Almost picked off right there.
That was number 6, Colin Keith, who we just talked about protecting that backfield. And interestingly enough, we've seen this with Claremont a couple of times. Justin Edwards was the one to prevent that QB sack. Justin Edwards, the running back, they use him as part of that offensive line.
Definitely. You see Camp get stuffed up right there. Almost an interception. So close. You can see just the visible, oh, I should have gotten that. And maybe they will.
But that does bring up 4th down, and it brings the Chapman Panthers another chance to bring their offense on the field.
Amir Adams just breaking through things, breaking through guys, but we do have a flag on the field. We're going to see who it's on.
Absolutely. If it's for the Claremont Stags, it is going to be a little bit of a boost for the Chapman Panthers. If it's on the Chapman Panthers, then that's once again that momentum we didn't want them to shift.
During the return, block in the back, number 92. Penalties half the distance. First down, Chapman.
Oh, this is unfortunate here, very unfortunate. This is what you didn't want if you're Chapman's offense. You wanted to break through early, you wanted to get points on the board, give Pacheco a bit of confidence. And, you know, they've had great field position for both of their first drives. Unfortunately, this isn't where you want to be, especially so soon in the game. Now we got Tyler Pacheco in the back. Sets number 3 in motion. Got to take it himself, just run through. Exactly what we know him for, just running through.
Trying to go up the gut. And we've talked about Pacheco and field position. We know that Pacheco can go for those long drives. In their previous matchup against the Cal Lutheran Kingsmen, Pacheco and the Panthers were on the field for just 2 drives, 2 very long drives, but they did result in a score in the end. So we know that this offense has the ability to go for those long plays and hopefully convert to a score. Still 0-0 here at Wilson Field with just over 6 minutes to go.
Oh yeah, definitely. What you really want to see is this O-line just open things up for him so he can make those sorts of plays. Got passed up to Gio Orsino. Goes in for a couple of yards gain. You know, again, Gio Orsino, one of our key players. He is a key piece. You may not see him get as many yards, but he's someone they definitely like to hand it off to because he is just rough and tumble.
Absolutely, and Gio Orsino is someone who has had to assume a lot of responsibility. He's been behind a lot of great running backs for this Chapman offense. Tanner Mendoza last year, Marcus Reyes, who's been out for this season. So he's really had to step up to that plate, and he's been doing so all season long.
Yeah, definitely. See maybe a little trickery right there?
It's possible.
Good cue, got to toss it out there. Big one, but he overestimates just a little bit. You gotta wonder if, you know, the defense kind of kept up with him that time, just slowed him down a little bit.
But great field position by Amir Adams, just keeping himself open, turning back, being ready for that pass. It was just slightly overthrown.
Now we're gonna see Owen
Tapia. Like tapioca pudding. Wonder how many times he's heard that joke.
Not sure about that, but we do have number 2 for CMS back to receive it. Gonna be about the 36-yard line here. Pretty good coverage if you're CMS, you know, not too far back, but of course not as far forward as you would have liked it to be.
Not as far forward, but this defense has done a pretty good job so far holding that offense. They haven't really had a long drive, not really going in with that full force that we expected them to. So credit to the defense where credit is due. They're really pushing forward and showing some grit.
Definitely. Camp's been able to keep it, to pass it. Both quarterbacks, really. We're seeing them utilize everything at their disposal in this game. Gotta hand that off. Keep it for number 45, Justin Edwards. Again, go-to guy for Camp. You know, if he can't run it himself with his legs, he's got to find his guy to run it for him.
Absolutely. We saw those defensive players, one of them being number 0, Roman Harden. a freshman this year for the Chapman Panthers, really proven himself as being an integral part of this defense so early on, so young in his Chapman career.
Yeah, that's what you need. You need young guys to come out here and prove that they have that grit for years to come. So that's what really builds teams around here. Hear that crowd getting fired up here. Toss that off. It's intercepted! Intercepted by number 1 on the Chapman defense. That's going to be Hunter Hadley.
Hunter Hadley! We talked about a pick 6 for the Claremont Stags last game. The Chapman Panthers having one of their own.
You know, we saw them before. They could have had a touchdown. Defense said, we can do one better. We can get the touchdown for you. Don't worry about it. You know, offense, we're here for you. And that's what it's all about, just making sure you pick up your offense and you get back that confidence, because this is what it's going to come down to, being confident against this team. You don't look at the records, you don't look at the stats, you just want to hope and believe, because that's all you have at this point.
Absolutely. As they set up for the kick with number 31, Ken Byrell, trying to get that extra point. It's good.
It's good. Good to see here. Kohlenkamp tosses it out, just a quick pick, and he has no one in sight, is able to just run it out, get that touchdown. Absolutely amazing. This is exactly what you needed. All the guys out there absolutely pumped up.
Just great awareness by Headley, making sure that that open pass didn't have anywhere to go.
We've seen this a lot recently with Kohlenkamp. He's got 3 interceptions. That's something that could kill your offensive drive. That's what you don't want. So that's one of the fears when he goes long and he just tosses it out, is someone going to pick it off? And with a defense like Chapman's, that's a huge worry in this game.
Absolutely, and that defense is going to go right back onto the field. But not before, of course, the kickoff. The punt by Owen Tapia.
Good, get set here, kick it off. Want to make sure you get as far back as possible. You don't want them to see any daylight. Want to make sure that you stuff them up early and you get as many points as possible. Looks like that's going to be a touchback right there. So they're going to start off around the 25-yard line.
And that receiver, number 22, Kirby Baines for CMS. We talked about him a bit before the show. Kirby Baines is a cornerback. You don't often see a defensive player as a kick returner, but Kirby Baines has been their main returner this season.
Man's got speed, is what I'll say. You know, to be able to kick return means you got speed, means you're rough and tumble, means you're able to just get through guys. And I guess that's a benefit of having a defense, you know, out there to kick return.
Absolutely. It just shows the strength and robustness of this defense for the Claremont side, but it's the offense now who's going to have to step up.
Kohlenkamp's going to toss it off to number 20. He's going to find a little bit of daylight. Wait a minute! That's a fumble. Looks like Chapman has got it. This is absolutely amazing. This defense is putting Chapman on the map right here. This is not exactly what you need. You want the offense to really get things started, but the defense is really going to go through, hit them hard, and make sure they have all the ability. Go see it right there. Just gets hit hard by Cade Jordan. Ball comes out. The rest is history.
Cade Jordan, that is a name we've said so many times here on CSBN. Cade Jordan is part of that O-line and that outside linebacker. He is just a force. We call him the Hare. You might see him coming, but you really don't. And now it brings Chapman back onto the field with their offense.
Yeah, if you're this offense, you're feeling energized after your defense just put up those amazing performances. Gotta get stuffed up right there. Not much space to go, but it's getting a little chippy out there, you know. Friendly competition and all.
Friendly competition, but both these teams have something to lose. Chapman looking for their first win. CMS looking for their win streak to go undefeated still.
Yeah, this is very important for both teams. But if Chapman can get in here, make CMS hurt, they can find the first win against an undefeated team at that. This is very important for Chapman. Looking up right now. Just gotta look for the play. Make sure everyone's on the same page here. Gotta toss it off. Just a little high. It's incomplete.
Dangerous pass there. Man right on number 11, Gian Legman.
Yeah, that's number 49 for the CMS defense, Cesar Fernandez. You know, again, we talk about these defenses. They're really putting in work tonight. Very important part of the recipe for both of these teams.
Absolutely. Tyler Pacheco has had success in his passing game tonight. He's also had success in his run game. So for him, it's about making those adjustments. When you're a new quarterback on the scene, you might not have that experience yet. So what better time to find it than now?
Yeah, very important. This defense is giving their offense all the time in the world to try and figure themselves out. And that's important when you're Chapman, you know, a new quarterback coming in. The defense just being able to give you the time and the space to learn and grow.
But it looks like there might have been a delay of game on the field. Or perhaps a timeout. Just a little bit of confusion, a little bit longer, just kind of being stagnant on the field as now these teams return to their huddle, try and regroup. If you're the Claremont Mudscripts, what are you looking for right now? What is it that is being said in that huddle?
Well, definitely what's being said in that huddle is we can't have any more mistakes like this. Mistakes like this cost people games, and it's definitely going to cost them the game if they can't tighten up.
Absolutely. This Chapman team during the first quarter and the first half really is a strong team. So they really want to take that advantage and get them as much of a lead as possible because as we'll talk about a little bit later tonight, the first half and the second half have been a tale of two cities for the Chapman offense.
Definitely, you know, you want to make sure you get off to a fast start if you're Chapman. Again, tale of two halves, really.
Yeah.
Just really want to punch them in the mouth early, get through, and just make sure you have enough of a gap between you and the other team. Guess Samira Adams in motion. Good, dump it off to number 21 here. It's good, get through. Was that enough?
That's number 21, Isaiah Woods. We talked about Gio Ursino. One we didn't talk about too much was Isaiah Woods. He's been someone who's been dealing with injuries so far as a running back, but he has been absolutely integral to this Chapman offense.
Unfortunately, you know, just not enough yards to get that fourth down. So now they're going to try and go for a field goal.
And that was Ken Byrell with the kick. Now, interesting thing about that, not only does it get Chapman 3 additional points, Ken Byrell right now was one kick behind the all-time leading record. Now he is tied. He is officially tied for field goals. He has been field goalless for the last 2 games. So finally for him, it's that field goal that got him to tie.
And it is good, and it is high. High kicks like that. You know, we talk about offense, we talk about defense. Your special teams is just as important on this field. They're going to get your field position, and they just make your first drives because a good special teams play is going to make all the difference.
Yes, and if you're wondering the name for anyone coming up on Chapman history, that is Mauricio, excuse me. So speaking of special teams, Tapia back on the field.
Got to kick it off. Again, very high. Another touchback. Stopping CMS from really running this, getting good field presence, and just keeping them back.
And it's stopping us from seeing the sight that is Kirby Baines taking that ball and just running with it. We don't get to see that so often here as Chapman students here on the Chapman Sports Broadcasting Network.
No, I bet you're very happy if you're a Chapman sports fan. Don't want Kirby Baines to go anywhere with that.
Unless, of course, it means that we get the ball back. Because if you're a Chapman sports fan, that's all you really want.
Oh. Gonna get stuffed up. Justin Edwards taken down. We saw that snap didn't exactly go the way that Kuhlenkamp would have wanted. A little fumbling in the hand, was able to toss it off, but still, you wonder, is his confidence shaken?
It's possible, and we talked about the battle of 45 here. It's playing out in full speed. That was number 45, Justin Edwards, and number 45, Alex Tariquez. The battle we talked about to continue now.
Definitely looking forward to this battle. Good keep it, good toss it off, and it's caught by number 20, Anderson Sinkar. We've talked about him earlier. He is another go-to guy for Kuhlenkamp. You just wonder, what is up with this offense? What is in their minds? What is their coach been telling them? How are they going to get through this?
I think in this instance, they were taking advantage of that Chapman D-line. They saw an opening and they used it, but I think this D-line has proved to be a little bit more powerful than they expected.
You never want to underestimate your enemies here. Stuffed up again. That's going to bring us to a second down.
And Angelique, you talked to number 20 on the Chapman offense, Gio Ursino. I know you talked to him a little earlier in this week about how they were preparing for this matchup, and you were told that things were getting chippy?
Yeah, the offense and defense, you know, of course in practice you want to play like the other guys, the enemy is the enemy team, but that message was taken to heart this practice. They were playing like the guys across from them were Claremont, and from what I'm seeing, I wouldn't have wanted to be the Chapman offense during that practice. Good take it, good toss it, open man, but not much field to go, getting stuffed up by number 7, Kate Jordan. Of course, we talked about him a little bit earlier. Really good at just getting his man and stopping him. No bum rushing him here, no sidestepping him here.
Absolutely. Just wide open right there in space. But it does bring them to a third down. So it's kind of that sacrifice, giving them a little more room, but being able to stop the run or risking the run and having more zone coverage.
Kuhlenkamp in shotgun here. Good take it, looking downfield, open it up, but that is just too far downfield. This Chapman defense was not letting anyone through. Unfortunately, number 6, Daniel Rosenberg, wasn't able to get all the way downfield, and that brings up a fourth down here, you know. Not what you want if you're CMS. You come in undefeated, all the confidence is in your favor, everything's looking your way, but Chapman wasn't going to let that stop them from having a fantastic night tonight. Fair catch is called. Amir Adams is going to catch it. Good get that right around the 12-yard line here.
Yeah, and if we talk about that play, going back to that third down, we saw the Chapman defense kind of read that play like an open book. We saw Rennick Martin and number 6, and wow, names are escaping me. You know when you have
Daniel
something to
Rosenberg.
say? Daniel Rosenberg, there you go. That's why there's 2 of us, so that if one of us forgets something in the moment, we have a backup, we have a buddy. But we
I've got your back.
Thank you, and those 2 had each other's back on that play.
1 second here in the first quarter. Good. Keep it, good toss it downfield, finds Amir Adams, and that is going to be a first down for Chapman.
And that brings us to the end of the first quarter.
great game here if you're Chapman. This is exactly what you needed. Maybe not on offense, but defense is definitely pulled through. 10-0 lead.
Absolutely. But I would argue if you're the Chapman offense, this is what you wanted. You wanted to have a score in that first quarter, and you got not just one, you got two. And talking for Ken Byral, I know that that record has been on his mind all season as a fifth-year player trying to break it, and he's now tied just one away from breaking it.
We're celebrating here for Ken, you know, just having a grand old time. This defense is definitely having a grand old time. CMS, you know, you come in with confidence, you really think, oh, I got this. Never underestimate the person on the other side of the ball, because that can make all the difference in a game.
Absolutely. As the Panthers and the Stags get ready for this second quarter, it'll be interesting to see if any adjustments be made, or if this Chapman offense is going to take that momentum and just run with it, or maybe pass with it.
We like to see both. We like to see everything. Gonna see Amir Adams, Gio Orsino come out here. Again, two key guys we've talked about a lot this game. Excited to see how they're used in this offense. Maybe they've got something up their sleeve.
Absolutely. Only one way to find out. Let's play.
Orsino in motion. Gonna keep it himself, go run up. He's taken down around the 35-yard line. Not bad. It's the little steps that really make what this team is going to be. You know, new leadership, a lot of new information, and you just need to get used to each other, I think is the key.
And I think credit to Tyler Pacheco is due. He's been someone who has been the backup, the secondary option for Nathaniel Espinoza since the beginning of his career. We've seen him a couple times with this last season and this season where he's had to been brought on and just kind of scrambled, and this time it looks like he's taking his time and choosing the right plays.
Keeps it again. He finds a lane, and he's going to go outside. Taken out of bounds around the 35-yard line, getting into that, you know, scary territory for CMS. But this is exactly what we were talking about, a mobile quarterback, use his legs. Those options are what is going to keep CMS's defense on their toes.
Absolutely. Just look at this replay. He finds that open lane, and he just runs for it. Ultimately, it is number 26, Jacob O'Connell, who kind of pushes him out, makes sure he can't run all the way through. But credit to him, just finding that open space and not trying to go right up the gut where he'd be stuffed.
Oh, definitely. Gonna hand it off here. Oh, a little juke step maybe? Try to stiff arm.
That was number 22, Derek Fuentes, a name we haven't said too much here.
Might have to nickname him Twinkle Toes after this. You see those moves out on the field? Gets through. Oh, there you go. Major miss. Tries to stiff arm and just comes down. Great. Great on offense. This is exactly what you need to make you feel alive out there.
Absolutely. And Chapman using their depth. They're trying to make the defense not get used to certain plays, not just going to Orsino or Adams.
Definitely got to reach down in the bag of chips for this one. He rolls out, finds another lane. It's going to be brought down ultimately, though, by number 50, Joey Asta.
Joey Asta for the Claremont defense is someone who, like the Chapman Panthers, has dealt with injuries this season, coming back last week, but one of those defensive players, an all-around player who can kind of stop the offense in the run, in the pass, but a name we haven't really said too much tonight.
You know, it's lots of riches on that defense. So maybe we might not say some names as much as others, but they're definitely making an impact on that field. Good going. He's going to keep it himself, but he gets stuffed up by this defense. Number 23.
That was number 23, Thanio Bright, safety, another one we were talking about, another Skag Defensive Player of the Week. All the way back at the beginning of the season, Claremont really uses their safeties. Jacob O'Connell, Thanio Bright really likes to
get them
rely on
involved.
them. Yes.
Well, it's really want to get your entire offense involved here if you're Chapman. Again, want to reach into that bag of tricks, not get too reliable out here. He's got to toss it. He's got a man downfield, but unfortunately just broken up. Number 21 on this defense, Connor Saran.
And that was intended for number 4, James Kroll. Another wide receiver in that Chapman bag of tricks, one we haven't heard too much. And we talked about it. We mentioned it. This is Ken Byrel going for the record-breaking field goal here. If he makes it, he will be the all-time leading field. He will lead all-time in field goals. Big moment here for Byrel.
And it is good. Absolute celebration right now. This crowd is pumped up for him. I'm pumped up for him, honestly.
I'm pumped up for him. Look at that on his face, that elation. Not only are you up 13-0, you are a record breaker. Your name is now going to be cemented in these Chapman halls.
Absolutely here. You see he's a senior, so this is really important to him. We can see it on his faces, you know, the elation of his teammates. We see that this was important to them as well. And of course, we shouted out offense, we shouted out defense. Again, we got to shout out special teams because they make the plays.
Absolutely. Those last 2 scores coming courtesy of the boot of Ken Byrel. We'll see if he can add to his record even more tonight. But for now, we're going to see another special team member. But just look at that.
So much excitement for each other, you know. Chapman, they really see each other as family, not just teammates, and it shows when you see how happy everyone is for each other through their successes. And that's very important for a team like this.
Absolutely. When you're on a losing streak, so to speak, not so to speak, when you just are on a losing streak, you have to keep that morale with your team.
And another touchback here. Absolutely nothing for this defense, special teams of CMS.
No chance for Kirby Baines. You might want to show off, but Chapman said, this is our home turf. You're coming to our house, our rules.
Absolutely. That's exactly what you want if you're Chapman. You don't want to let Kirby Baines just get out there and run on you. You want to make sure you stuff them up quick. And that's exactly what they're doing here. 13-0, nothing.
Absolutely. But as Kohlenkamp comes up to the steps up, it's going to be his time to shine or his time to fall.
Gonna see he's gonna keep it. He's gonna toss it off. Unfortunately, just slipped through his fingers right there. A little bit off his shoulder.
Once again, that was number 20, Anderson Sinkar. We've said his name a lot. The chemistry between the two is there. It's just a little miscommunication from time to time. Maybe coming on to enemy turf, so to speak, can disrupt it just a little bit. And you see those fumbles happen.
Yeah, maybe this defense is making the CMS offense shaking their boots just a little bit.
It's quite possible. I know they weren't expecting to be down 13-0 in this second quarter.
Gonna see here. Not gonna get that first down. Brought down ultimately. 33-yard line here. So unfortunately, you know, you're coming to a third down here. And this is what you want if you're Chapman's defense. You don't want them to get any momentum started, whether that be through running, whether that be through passing. You just want to make sure you stuff them up and you don't let them get through.
Absolutely. We talked about third down conversions at the start of this game, about 36% pre-Chapman Claremont. We'll see if that number is going to increase or decrease on this third down.
Gonna hand it off here.
It's going to be close. But ultimately, he gets the first down, and Claremont adds to their number.
Yeah, I'll live to see another day out here. First down, but ultimately, you're not getting the momentum you need if you're Claremont. You see, stuffed up, yes, you get the first down, but you're not going very far. And that could be a bit hard, you know, not getting easy first downs. This defense is really making them pay when they come down the field. Gonna toss it off here, has a man open. Just slips through his fingers. He tried to get up high to catch it. Maybe it was a little too high by Camp.
Almost intercepted by number 9, Isaac Holbrook, another cornerback. We've talked a lot about cornerbacks and safeties tonight. Those outside defending positions really having to put in the work tonight. And we talked a little bit earlier about Justin Edwards and just how explosive he is. And we're seeing little inklings of that. But they really don't want him to get that momentum fully. Otherwise, it might be an ink spell you just can't dry.
Handoff to Edwards. Again, he doesn't go very far. This is very important for Chapman's defense. Keeping Justin Edwards at bay would have been first priority on any coach's list. And that's exactly what they've done. They haven't let him get through. They haven't let him sneak past. We know that Camp likes to hand it off to him, likes to dump it off to him as well. And he hasn't been able to get out onto the field enough to actually let that happen.
Absolutely. This defense has just been proving themselves, and they're staying really close to this offense, trying to not let them get any leverage.
No, absolutely nothing here. We're going to see what bag of tricks Camp brings out for this one. He's going to keep it. Flag on the play, though.
Early flag.
False start. Number 20, offense. 5-yard penalty, third down.
That's a start by number 20, Anderson Sinkar.
Again, it's mistakes. Mistakes are going to kill you in this game. You know, underestimating your enemy over on the Chapman side and making mistakes are going to lead to 0 points on the board, and that's exactly what we're seeing.
This crowd is getting into it. We hear them in the booth right now. They're getting ready for a game, and they want to keep it going.
This field is electric. Good, keep it good. Toss it off here. Catches it. Is it enough for the... Absolutely nothing there.
Brings them right back about to the line of scrimmage, and that's going to bring the Chapman, that's going to bring Claremont special teams back onto the field and give the Chapman offense more time on the green.
Yeah, you know, time of possession was a difference between these two teams, but we're seeing Chapman being able to dominate.
Absolutely.
See there, goes to Sinkar again. Unfortunately, gets stuffed up, can't do anything about it. Gonna see Amir Adams fall on it to get them to about the 19-yard line.
Not too typical for Amir Adams. Normally he likes to either protect the ball or scoop it up, try and get the run, but the way the ball was falling, he just knew if he let it bounce, it would go farther and farther back. So might as well take a couple yards of loss and get your offense in a position to make another power play.
Yeah, and these are definitely good reps. You know, not always producing points the way you want to through your offense, but definitely giving a lane open for your special teams to come in and get those points. So we haven't seen maybe the full power of this offense, but I'm hoping we see it now. Get a handoff. Gets stuffed up, though. That's number 21 for Chapman's offense.
Yeah, Isaiah Woods, we've mentioned him a little bit before. He's in place of Ursino right now. Again, with those injuries, it's been kind of a toss-up on running backs. They haven't necessarily had a consistent one that they've gone to, but that could make it a little bit better for them, make them a little bit unpredictable, which is something Chapman's struggled with in the past. We've talked about how they're a strong team, outscoring their opponents in the first half of the game, but in the second half, they're really being outscored 38-10.
Yeah, predictability will be the death of any team. Keep running, keep passing. The defense will take notice. And we see another flag here on the play.
False start, 52, offense. 5-yard penalty, second down.
Could be a false start here on lane 40. unfortunate for Chapman. You know, already not great field position. Don't want to get pushed back even further.
Unfortunate, but not insurmountable.
I see him try and hurry up here. Steps back and tosses it. He finds Amir Adams, who's able to bring it in. Unfortunately, not enough for a first down.
Going to be third down for these Panthers. Again, we talked a lot about the third downs. We saw the Claremont Mudscripts. They were able to convert. Can the Chapman Panthers do the same thing and give themselves even more momentum on this field? Because I imagine if you're the Chapman Panthers, you want to keep this ball as long as possible.
Definitely. Gets tossed off to number 21. Again, go-to guy for today. Unfortunately, can't find anything, and that's going to bring up fourth down. Not exactly what you want on this Chapman offense. You want long drives, you want first downs, and you're just not getting them right now.
A little bit of a lucky break if you're the Claremont Stags. You get your offense back on the field, you get Cooling Camp a chance to maybe shake off the nerves, and if you're the Stags, if you can get a score on this drive, bring it within one possession, then you're golden going into that second half.
Definitely, that could be a momentum shift going into the locker room, as we only have about 5.5 minutes here. As you see here, passes it off, but just gets taken down. Absolutely nowhere to go. And that's not what you want if you're Chapman's offense. You want to make sure your guys can beat their man and just get through that field as fast as possible.
Absolutely. Chapman defense back on the field. We know that this defense has already scored a touchdown once today. Can they do it again? I know they sure hope so. We'll see what happens in the last 5.5 minutes of the first half.
Yeah, definitely we saw an interception. That is courtesy of Cooling Camp. We know that he has interceptions in his history, and you wonder, is another going to happen tonight? But not there. That was picked up by number 85.
That was Caleb Carfaro. Those C names. I believe that is called, oh, what's it called when it's the same
alliteration?
consonant? Alliteration. There you go. See? Buddy system.
Buddy system
out on the field. Buddy system up in the booth. And brings us to second down for the Stags.
Gonna keep it. Looks downfield. Doesn't know what to do. About to get taken down. He decides to scramble for it, but he's got people on him, and he gets stuffed up. Absolutely nowhere to go.
Oh, my word.
We talked about mobile quarterbacks, but maybe that's just the detriment tonight of this offense, because this Chapman defense has Cooling Camp's number.
Absolutely. The first one to make contact, that was number 57, Alfonso Barmore Jr., just making sure Cooling Camp, he kind of escaped, did a little dance and ballet moves perhaps. I know some football players like ballet, but Barmore just made sure that he did not get the last dance.
See, just finds nothing, tries to stiff arm there, but is just overpowered by this defense. He's gonna take it, scrambles out, tries to push Edwards in front of him to see if he can gain anything at that line, and he gets the first down.
He does. It might be a little bit unorthodox, but it worked. There's no rule against pushing your own running back, and if they can protect you, well, might as well.
Yeah, we know. We see, mostly in the NFL now, we see a lot of tough wide receivers, running backs who are good at blocking downfield for their players. I guess this is just another instance of that.
Yeah, Claremont really likes to make use of all their players. They're versatile players. They're mobile. We see sometimes Edwards is even in the wide receiver position, not anywhere close to being a running back.
Gets handed off, but he has nowhere to go. Absolutely stifled by this defense.
And I know I just talked about Edwards sometimes being in that wide receiver position. Not that time. He was acting as a true running back, and as a true running back, he got truly stuffed.
Yeah, you start to wonder here, how tired is this offense for CMS, just being stopped at every single turn? That has to start to take a toll on your players, especially your quarterback, coming in with all the momentum and being stuffed up like this.
Absolutely. Let's see what they do here.
Tosses it off, but just doesn't find it. Gets some yards out of it, though.
Absolutely. Now, down on the field, we have CSBN's own Dan Batson. He has his own series, Dan Does, where he learns different things, tries them out, and does them. At halftime, we're going to see Dan Does cheerleading, and right now he's putting what he's learned to the test. And look at that smile. Doing pretty well, if you ask me.
He's got movement in those hips, I'll tell him that, you know?
Absolutely. Round of applause for Dan Batson, everyone. Stay tuned for that package. It's a fun one.
All the applause for Dan Batson. Ski cool in camp. He tosses it out. Almost, just a little high. Could have been picked off there. Again, we know that that's a weakness of cooling camps. He tosses it downfield. Hope someone's down there, and just might get picked off again tonight.
Absolutely, but it brings on the Chapman defense, brings off the Chapman defense, brings on the Claremont special teams, and gives Chapman offense a chance to be the ones to hold on to the ball in the last 2 minutes of play here in the first half.
If you're Chapman, you're feeling energized. You came into this, people, you know, maybe didn't think you got it in you, but you got that dog in you, don't you?
Absolutely. Amir Adams once again signaled for a fair catch, and on the kick, a little bit of a stumble. They kind of had to regroup, grab the ball. They did get the kickoff, but just a little bit of uneasiness here on this Claremont offense.
Yeah, if you're CMS's defense, you have to be tired as well here. With how many times Chapman's been on the field and how many offensive plays they have, you start to get a little tired if you're that defense, and that's just going to make it easier for Chapman to get it down the field.
Absolutely, but we've talked about it before. This Chapman team in the first half and the second half statistically this season have been very different, outscoring their opponents 49-48, but being outscored 38-10. So we'll see if this time they know how to make adjustments and keep this momentum strong.
Gonna hand off to DRC. He finds a lane. Not gonna be brought down anytime soon, and he gets out there. Finally brought down around the 45-yard line. Absolutely stellar for Gio Orsino, though. Finds a gap, makes the most of it, gets down there. Amazing.
And it was quick, right on the first drive. Tyler Pacheco, he has it, just hands it right off to Orsino, and he finds that open lane, gets some support from his offensive line to just give him the space to go for it.
Try to run it again. Players think it might have came out. Seems Chapman still has it, though. Orsino's really a go-to guy, again, as we said, for this offense. Very important key.
Absolutely, but right now we see Orsino step off the field. Isaiah Woods back on the field with Pacheco. That combination of players a little bit newer, but still can be deadly.
Oh, definitely. We're gonna see it. Oh, fake the handoff. He takes it, steps back, tosses it. Unfortunately, goes out of bounds, you know.
Pacheco's pass incomplete. Pass was intended for Jason Bruce. It's 3rd and 7.
We're able to see Pacheco's throwing skills, though.
Absolutely. We
show.
call him a mobile quarterback, but he's got an arm on him, intended for number 18, Jason Bruce. We'll see if Jason Bruce has an opportunity to have his name shouted out again. I know that if you're a player just getting that catch, it's a good feeling, especially if you can give your team the score to make it a 3-possession game.
Yeah, if you're Chapman right now, you're feeling pretty good. Yeah, your offense maybe has a couple stumbles here and there, might not make it all the way down the field, but overall, your morale is high. Good keep it himself, good toss it out. Catch is made by number 3. He's able to get to about the 30-yard line before he's pushed out of bounds.
That was Chapman's tight end, Quentin Beeble. We haven't said his name too much tonight, but Chapman really digging into their bag of tricks here, and that's exactly what we wanted. We wanted them to be versatile. Just right out there in open space, stiff arms it, and just makes his move and gets them closer to the field, closer to the end zone, and in field goal range.
Yeah, 43 seconds left here. Not a lot of time, but we're gonna have to see if they can make magic happen. Fakes the handoff, keeps it, tosses it out. Oh, and it just slips through. Would have been out of bounds anyhow.
Pacheco's pass incomplete.
Unfortunate.
Pass was intended for Justin Zimmer. 2nd and 10.
It's now 2nd and 10 for these Chapman Panthers with 38 seconds to go. It's decision time. What are you gonna do? Do you try and go for that touchdown? Or when you're up ahead, do you try and just get your team in position to get that field goal? I know 2nd and 10, you might not have to make that decision quite yet, but it's coming.
Yeah, definitely, especially with only 37 seconds on this clock. Are we gonna see a long pass? Yes, we are. Unfortunately, it's a little too far out there.
Pacheco's pass incomplete. Pass was
Falls
intended for Jason
incomplete.
Bruce.
Intended again for number 18, Jason Bruce. We said we wanted to say his name again. I think we meant on a reception, but nonetheless, we did say it again, so
Kept
hats
our
off to them.
promises. Now they're just looking towards their sideline. Make sure everyone knows what's going on before you start the play, especially with 30 seconds on the clock. You don't want any miscommunication here.
Absolutely. If you're Chapman, in the ideal situation, you end this half up 20-0 against the #1 team at a 4-0 record.
Gotta toss it out. Oh, unfortunately, Amir Adams just a couple steps too far.
And what's interesting about this game tonight is we actually haven't seen a touchdown by the Chapman offense. We've seen one by the defense, and we've seen 2 field goals for Ken Byrell, but not a true offensive touchdown. No running touchdown, no touchdown by Tyler Pacheco, no 50-yard catch by Amir Adams. We saw one kind of at the beginning, but unfortunately it got passed off due to flags.
Fortunately, no good here.
But with just 20 seconds left in this game, it is going to force Cooling Camp to either just throw it into the end zone or play it safe, not let the Chapman defense any chance of picking it off, getting that pick 6, and just running it until the end of the 2nd quarter to just regroup in the locker room.
Yeah, regrouping is definitely gonna have to go on if you're CMS. No points on the board, even though you're known for being a high-flying offense, being able to put a massive amount of points on the board. That's not exactly what you want here. As we see Cooling Camp in the shotgun. Looks like it might be a fumbled snap here. We're gonna have to see who receives it. Cade Jordan signaling that's Chapman's. Let's see. And they're saying Chapman's got it. Chapman's defense does it once again. This close to halftime, momentum is on their side. Absolutely amazing. Goosebumps, really.
That was number 45, Alexander Tariquez. We talked about 45. Here's 45. Let's see what happens.
He just fumbles the snap a little bit, doesn't have his hands on it, and it is just taken. Absolute excitement if you're Chapman. Going into halftime, you could not be in a better position.
Absolutely. I mean, if you're Chapman fans, maybe if you were up 50-0, that would be the ideal position. But for this Chapman offense today, being up 13-0, possibly even more, is exactly what you wanted to be against this 4-0 team.
Gives Pacheco one last chance to try and get it in before they go to halftime. He's able to run it. He might get it, and it's a touchdown for Tyler Pacheco before halftime. Absolutely amazing. Exactly what you wanted if you're Pacheco. All the confidence in the world. He knew he could do it. His team knew he can do it, and now we see for sure that he can do it, all with his legs.
That is what you want if you're Tyler Pacheco. You have the ability, you have the mobility, and you do it. You give Ken Byroll the perfect opportunity to give you that extra point and just give you a 3-possession lead before the end of the first half.
And that kick is good this time.
I want to see that again, Angelique. What about you?
Oh, definitely. You see here, fakes the handoff, keeps it for himself, makes a man miss, makes another man miss, just a slippery guy, and is in for the touchdown.
This crowd is hyped. This team is hyped. Even up here in the booth, we're pretty hyped. We have a fan right below us saying hello to us, cheering for us. It is all energy for this Chapman offense, for this Chapman team in the first half. But as we said, it's the tale of two halves, so it's going to be interesting to see what this team does when they come back after that halftime.
Definitely. You talked about these fans being more happy if they were up 50-0. Now it's 20-0. Again, a little bit closer there. Absolutely amazing. Now we see a kick. Again, nothing there for Kirby Baines. No time for him to just take it, run it to an end zone.
And with just 8 seconds left, we see the Claremont Stags, their offense coming back onto the field. We'll see if they can do anything in this 8 seconds. You never know. They don't call it a Hail Mary for nothing.
Yeah, we've definitely seen this defense be the hero for Chapman, but that offense, I don't think I'm going to stop talking about it this entire game now. Tyler Pacheco is able to have a little bit of momentum. Just going to kneel it out here. Just go to halftime, figure yourself out, and just try and figure out what is going wrong with your offense. Why can't you stop them on defense? Where is the package?
Not quite sure for them, but one thing is for sure, this Chapman defense has stepped it up big time. We've talked about injuries for this Chapman team being an issue. With Nathaniel Espinoza out, Tyler Pacheco's had to step up. But another injury that really affected them, that we can see the benefits of that player, is Alexander Tariquez. He's been on that field just absolutely getting in there, stopping the run, picking up the fumble. This team has just looked like a new team tonight.
Definitely. And a person who's been a part of that, Gio Ursino.
Well, we're here with Gio Ursino, and wow, an amazing end to the first half. But I want to talk a little bit about that 40-yard carry that you did.
Well, shout out to the O-line. We've been working on the footwork all week. It's one of our, I was 32, it was one of our like bread and butter plays. Most basic inside run. We've been working on it all season, and my coach always tells me, trust the footwork, run downhill, and trust that the gap's going to be there. And I ran downhill, and it just opened up in front of me. O-line did a great job, and I just took it. So
amazing. Thank you so much, Gio.
Yeah, take care of them.
Ladies, back to you.
Thank you, Sophia. Absolutely inspiring. Always great to hear from Gio. Now I really want to see that first half one more time. I'm still pumped over here. You know, absolutely incredible what Chapman's able to do.
Let's take a look at it. I know we're all dying to see what this Chapman team did that was so successful on the defensive side and the offensive side.
We see here that interception, not exactly what you wanted in the first half, but being able to come back from those types of things is what makes a team. Then we see the pickoff here by the defense, ultimately a pick six.
That was Hunter Headley. We've talked about him on this broadcast network. He was one of our key players in week 1 and just proven why the defense is top priority here.
Yeah, and here we see Chapman just being able to stuff up teams. And we see a fumble here. Absolutely incredible. You know, we love to see this from our defense.
And Ken Byroll with that record-tying field goal. It's been a big night for him already, and it's only the first half.
Definitely, definitely. We see here another fumble. Our defense on fire. Kuhlenkamp maybe losing his cool just a little bit. Ultimately going to Chapman. And there it is again, that touchdown.
Just an absolutely gorgeous play by Tyler Pacheco to give them that 3-possession lead here in the first half.
Absolutely incredible. I love to see it. This offense, you know, we said it before that being able to meld with their quarterback is going to be very important. And I think they've done just that.
Absolutely. We saw that mobility kind of being a bit of a struggle, and we saw at the beginning they tried with what had been working in the past, those long passes to Amir Adams, and that got nulled for them, and they had to change up their game plan, and that might have actually been beneficial to them. Of course, they would say that they want another score, but I digress. 20-0 at halftime is huge for this Chapman team.
Definitely. And while I'm coming down from that excitement high, you guys are going to be able to see Dan does with the cheerleaders. I'm also pretty excited about that. Maybe I won't come down from this excitement. You know, I'm pretty excited about that right now.
Absolutely. We're going to keep this excitement going. We'll be back with you in the second half. Angelique Ramirez, Zoe Franklin, signing off for now.
Take your lead.
Okay, so we start the same way as last time. We go ready, and you clap. And the words are Panthers, let's fire it up, go, see you. So every word has a motion. So we'll start Panthers, and you look to the right. And then we go step on the left, let's fire it up, and you hit up top. And then we do hips, go, see you, clean. And we do it again.
3 times.
Yeah.
Each cheer 3 times.
Yes. Yes. Are you gonna? Can you handle that?
I think so, but before I gotta take the jacket off, I think.
God, take the jacket off.
I try my best.
All right, we believe you.
Thank you. That's all I need.
Yes, we're here. All right. Ready? Panthers, let's fire it up. Go, see you. Panthers, let's fire it up. Go, see you. Panthers, let's fire it up. Go, see you. 1, 2. Let's go,
Let's go, Panthers!
Pump it up.
Woo!
How's that? I feel like that was good.
It felt okay. It felt okay. I got the words more this time than last time. What do you guys think?
Well, I have a confession. After he cut the cameras, I may or may not have told him he was better than a 4 out of 10. He said he was maybe a 7 out of 10 on the last one, and on this one, I'll give you a 7.5 out of 10.
Yes, I'll take a 7.5.
That was really good.
That's a pretty good score. That's a pretty good score.
That is a good score.
I have to give you an 8. You said the words, you said the cheers, you did the cheers. So 8.
7.5 and 8. I
Love
will
that.
take that. That's a Dan Does A in my.
Yeah, it is for me too.
Not gonna lie. Well, thank you so much, you guys, for taking the time to teach me. Obviously, you're going to be at Wilson Field tonight at 7 o'clock.
Heck yes. Be
Okay.
there, be square.
Be sure to watch on CSBN. Make sure to support the Panthers on the field. But Mary, Jordan, thank you so much for taking the time to teach me.
Woo!
This has been definitely one of my favorite episodes of Dan Does. Make sure you're there at Wilson Field tonight to watch and follow all the action on CSBN Live. I'm Dan Dotson, here with Dan Does. Check us out later.
Woo!
Here to Wilson Field. I talked about the heat. Definitely hot out there on the field. Electrifying even. Can't believe we already have this. We're already this far into the game. 20-0 Chapman up against the odds.
Absolutely. We here on the field, back in black playing. Chapman offense is looking back in play. They are here and they came to play. They are not kidding around here.
Nope, definitely not. You know, we've predicted in this game that hope was what it was going to be. And definitely hope has gotten them very far, but also trust with each other. As we see here, passing yards, 83 for the Stags, 80 for the Panthers. You know, that could be kind of deceiving because, you know, they're not passing as much, but they're definitely getting points on the board.
Absolutely, but here we see at the start of this second half, the Claremont Mudscript Stags are going to have the ball, and we talked about this in the first half, but the Chapman team has to keep this momentum as the play keeps going.
Yeah, you talked about earlier, a tale of two halves with these Chapman Panthers. Really great first halves, maybe not so great second halves. So they got to keep their foot on the gas and not let up anytime soon.
Exactly. We're off. The second half has begun, and the Claremont Stags are getting ready to start their drive.
Yeah, you really wonder now, how are Kuhlenkamp's nerves? Because you come into this undefeated, you have a couple fumbles, you know, snaps just not going right. So you wonder, how does that mess with your mentals?
We'll see it play out as the second half is underway here at Wilson Field.
Gonna keep that one, look downfield, go dump it off to number 2. He finds some room. Is able to make it to about the 32-yard line there.
Number 2, Mason Cotton here for the Claremont Stags. We haven't said his name too much here. Kuhlenkamp really been throwing to number 20, Anderson Sinkar, so Mason Cotton hasn't been getting those receptions like we're used to if you're the Claremont Mudscripts.
Yeah, maybe they're trying to pull out everything right now to get those points on the board before it's too late. He's gonna keep it, gonna toss it real quick. Again, to number 2. He's a stiff arm, but ultimately be brought down. Amazing get through though. Able to just follow through, get past a couple guys, and really make some yards.
Absolutely. We talked about adjustments being made. We're seeing one already for the Stags, going to Mason Cotton, who is exiting the field now, but those first 2 passes were just for him.
We see here the fake. Good, dump it off real quick there. No time for this defense to kind of adjust. Ultimately gets brought down, but he gets those yards. Go return to old reliable here, number 45, Justin Edwards. Gonna stay hungry in this game, you know. Haven't been able to make those big plays. You want to be there for your team, and he's that type of player.
Absolutely. Justin Edwards in this first half, he was averaging just 2.6 yards per carry, which is a number significantly less than what he's used to producing for these Stags.
Gonna see Kuhlenkamp and shotgun again. He's gonna take it, gonna keep it this time, but ultimately kind of trips up there.
That was a bring down by Cade Jordan. Cade Jordan, part of that defensive line, that outside linebacker. He's hungry for a win.
Oh, definitely. You can tell by the way this defense is playing that they're out for it tonight. As you can see there, just slips through, able to catch on to Kuhlenkamp's foot and bring him down. That's all you need really in this game. I'm gonna see him lined up again here. 3rd down. Gonna keep it, gonna pass it. Ultimately broken up, almost an interception.
Broken up, almost an interception. That's number 12, Rennick Martin, cornerback for the Chapman defense, and brings up 4th down for the Stags. 3 and out, exactly what you want if you're this Packers. No, this is California, this Panthers team.
Don't want to hear none of that Packers stuff right now.
Not a fan of the Packers, Angelique?
Let's not talk about that.
All right, we'll get back to football here at Wilson Field. Amir Adams once again with a fair catch. Kind of interesting how he's been doing that all night. Why do you think that is?
You know, you don't want to give CMS's special teams a chance to just drive you back or even take the ball from you. So it's going to be really important that he protects that ball. And if that means starting off a little farther back, that's the trade-off you make. You have to have trust in your offense to come out into the field, get those first downs, drive down the field themselves.
Absolutely, and we've seen that trust do wonders for Tyler Pacheco as he's back on the field, ready for their first drive of the second half.
Absolute confidence here. It's got, 20. Gio Orsino gets stuffed up, passed off to him. Not much there, but again, you're coming back from the half. Your momentum is still high. You're not going to let this slow you down. You shouldn't let this slow you down because you've shown you can do it. You can put your feet to the ground and run through.
Absolutely, but the momentum is being challenged right now by this defense, particularly by number 50, Joey Asta. We talked about him a little bit. He came off an injury, made an impact, kind of like Tariquez for this Panthers team, so we'll see that play out now.
Gonna see him toss it here. Has a man open, number 11. Not able to get any yards after the catch, but that's okay because he was out there, just a free man.
That was number 11, Gian Loggeman. We've mentioned his name a couple times today, trying to mix it up. We talked about it. Bag of tricks, that's the phrase. How many times have we said that today? Making sure that it's not predictable with Amir Adams being the only option for passing.
Definitely. I know I've said bag of tricks enough times on this broadcast. Got to see what they pull out this time. Got pass off again to Orsino. Oh, unfortunately, he finds nothing. Gets brought down. You can see maybe a little bit of disappointment there for the Chapman offense. He had such a good first half, a lot of momentum. You don't want to lose that this early into the second half.
Especially on 3rd and 1, this Panthers offense just had 1 yard to go. Kind of runs into his own man there, but his own man was defending against number 50, Joey Asta. We said him already. Is he going to be a problem for this Panthers offense?
Yeah, we're definitely seeing that now. Gonna see it punted. Go let that one go. Ultimately goes into a place you kind of don't want it to be.
So 3 and out for the Stags offense, 3 and out for the Panthers offense. We're starting at a place of equal territory. It's basically like the first couple minutes of that game didn't happen and we're right back to where we started. So if we're going back to the first couple minutes of this game, what does this Panthers defense have to do to make sure that their offense has enough opportunities to get right back on the field?
You know, this defense, they're opportunity makers, if anything. They're not going to sit back and wait for something to fall into their hands. They're going to go down and they're going to take it from you. And that's exactly what you need right now. We've seen Kuhlenkamp maybe a little shaken. Haven't really seen efficient passing or rushing from him. We really want to see more. Except there, made me eat my own words. Pass is dumped off to number 19. We talked a little bit about him tonight.
That is number 19, Bryce Desjardins for the Stags offense. We talked about this Stags offense not getting those open men, not being able to move it up the field, and as if he could hear us, he said, I'm not done yet. I've found that space and I've found my man.
Definitely went back in there during halftime. He's reaching into his bag of tricks. Again, I say, trying to pull out whatever. Finds a man again. Is able to get closer to that first down mark.
That's number 20, Anderson Sinkar. We talked about him in the first half. That chemistry seeming to click finally. That we kind of saw a little bit messed up. So if that chemistry clicks back into place, is it dangerous for this Panthers defense?
It's definitely a bit dangerous, you know. The whole point is keeping Kuhlenkamp off of his game, making sure he's stuffed up, that he has nowhere to go, that his men have nowhere to go. And if he finds those connections, he's going to gain that confidence right back. We're going to see a first down here. Not what you want if you're this Chapman defense. Exactly what you want if you're CMS.
Absolutely. You want to get on this board if you are CMS. Another first down conversion by Anderson Sinkar. And this Stags offense is moving fast. We've talked about long drives. Chapman in their last game, just 2 long drives against the Cal Lutheran Kingsmen. But this Stags team wants to move quick and get a score now.
Yeah, we're going to see Kuhlenkamp here. Dumping it off again. Number 82 makes a man miss. Unfortunately, he's still stuffed up.
Number 82, Ben Kim on the reception there. Part of that Stags depth that they haven't really seen too much in this game, but they're taking advantage of here. That quick little pass, very short, ultimately stopped by almost Cade Jordan, but it takes Colin Keefe to make sure that he gets the man down and avoids the touchdown.
Yeah, definitely. We haven't seen much of Kim here, but maybe that's what they're looking for. Unpredictability, as we talked about earlier. Ultimately, they get stuffed up here. They're passing more efficient so far. They've been able to get men open downfield and just zingers. Unfortunately, you're giving too much space to this offense, and you can't allow that right now.
We've talked about the second half for Chapman, and we've mentioned these numbers before. I'm going to say them again for anyone joining our broadcast for the first time. Chapman has been outscored in the second half 38-10 in the season in their first 3 games. And if they continue that trend, it'll be close. They have a large lead
Toss
now.
up again. Ultimately brought down by number 12. Rennick Martin for this Chapman defense. That's exactly what you needed on this third down. You needed him to be brought down. You can't let them go any further on this field.
Rennick Martin proving that the Chapman Panthers are making those adjustments. They're listening. Look at that.
Absolutely nowhere to go. Multiple defenders coming towards him. Stuffed up, brought down.
This crowd is getting into it already. The players on the field jumping up and down. They want this win. They can taste it.
Looks like they're going to go for it on 4th down, and they end up getting it brought down around
the 10-yard line for Kuhlenkamp. Just took it himself. We saw a similar play result in a touchdown for the Chapman Panthers right at the end of the second quarter. Kuhlenkamp trying to repeat and make one of his own, and he almost did.
Definitely so. Again, mobile quarterback, and maybe we haven't seen too much of it, but they just left a lane open. Wasn't maybe expecting him to take it himself. Ultimately, that was a mistake that they can't afford to make at the start of this half.
And he was taken down again by number 12, Rennick Martin, for this Chapman Panthers defense. Rennick Martin proving absolutely essential for this Panthers defense right now, making those tackles, making sure that this offense isn't getting those runs that they could be, but still this Stags offense has moved down the field, and they've moved down the field quickly.
Quickly is the name of the game. You know, we've seen very quick passes, quick decisions. In the first half, I think we saw Kuhlenkamp have to think a little bit. He had to sit back, maybe decipher this defense a little bit, and that ultimately was his downfall. Took too long, nothing developed, it was ultimately brought down. But now we're seeing him get it off very quickly, and that could be very detrimental for this Chapman defense.
Absolutely. He's really been utilizing, now we've said bag of tricks. How does a box sound? A box of tricks. It's a little more square, it's a little more stagnant, which is anything but for Kuhlenkamp right now. He's looking versatile, and he is looking open as they come out of this timeout.
I can dig it, a box.
Well, hopefully this Chapman defense can box up this offense if you're a Chapman sports fan. Here we go.
Good, toss it off again to Justin Edwards. He breaks through and gets that much closer to the end zone. can't afford to let him just get those yards freely like that.
Absolutely not. Justin Edwards kind of had a bit of a struggle in that first half, as we talked about. Just 10 carries with just a gain of 26 yards. Not the numbers we're used to seeing for him, but he's making sure that he makes up for it now.
Again, a couple of yards here for him. Maybe not the efficiency that we've seen before from him, but he's still making himself known. And that could be very scary for this defense. You do not want to let him make himself known on this field.
Absolutely, and he gave them enough for the first down. So this Stags offense has, if they go for it on 4th down, has 4 chances to get a touchdown and get themselves on the board.
Not much space you have to go through to get there either. Looks like Colton's going to keep it himself.
Is it enough?
It looks like it.
Enough. Kuhlenkamp puts the Claremont Stags on the board with a quarterback run touchdown right there. We saw it from Tyler Pacheco. Walter Kuhlenkamp had one of his own.
Oh, definitely. Again, we talked about mobile quarterbacks. He's definitely one of those people. Just sidesteps, finds a lane, pushes through bodies to get through, and ultimately comes up with the touchdown.
And after that play, we do unfortunately have a player down on the field for the Chapman team. It looks like players taking a knee, silence here on the crowd. You don't want to see that, even in matches where things get chippy, where you're playing your heart out. You never want to see an injury on the field.
No. You know, player health is at the forefront of everyone's minds, especially when we talk about Chapman. They've had a lot of injuries lately, and this is just not what you want to see.
Not at all. And when it comes to this, especially when a player is on the field for such a long time, it's just this moment of holding your breath, making sure that they can be okay, that they can get up. And it does look like he is rising, being helped up off the field.
Not exactly what you want to see right now, but, you know, we're all glad he's able to get off the field with the help of assistance.
That's number 92, Isaiah Munoz. We've talked about him, defensive tackle for this Panthers defense. An incredible player, sophomore, really young player on this team, so has a long career left with the Panthers if he chooses so. Just happy that he's able to get off the field with the help of his teammates. But nonetheless, the game does continue.
Very much so. We're going to see the extra point, and it's good. That gives them a 7-20 here for CMS. Hopefully not the start of a comeback.
If you're these Chapman Panthers, that is the last thing you want. CMS has now brought it within 2 possessions of play, shortening that gap between them. If you're Chapman, you want to make that gap as wide as possible. We saw this team last week against Cal Lutheran get 2 touchdowns in that second half. You definitely want to see that again, maybe even more if you're this Chapman team.
Definitely, definitely. And you see 4 minutes and 40 seconds on that clock. A lot of time eaten up here. Not that much left in this third quarter. You hope that Chapman's offense can bring it around. You know, maybe the defense wasn't able to make that stop, but it is a team sport. Everyone does their part.
Absolutely.
And it's time for the offense to do their part.
Absolutely. This defense was the story of the first half. In this second half, maybe it's the offense's turn to really sink in that dagger.
Definitely. We see here about to be kicked. Things a little chippy over there.
Absolutely. We're seeing some animosity on the field.
Ultimately brought down around the 26 by number 27.
Absolutely. To give us a little bit more information on what we saw in that previous play, we're going to bring you down to Sophia Young so she can tell us a little bit more about what she saw down on the field.
Thank you so much, ladies. Well, with less than 5 minutes left in the third quarter, there's an apparent leg injury from number 92, Isaiah Munoz. Although it is not clear as of current if he's going to be returning back in the game, who knows? Truly, this could really go either way. Most likely he will be okay, but only time will tell. Ladies, back to you.
Thank you so much, Sophia. We see, ooh, unfortunate here. Just stuffed up, tried to take it himself, didn't turn out well.
That was number 35 for the Claremont defense. Elijah Costa, a name we really haven't said on this broadcast. So has it been the story of the Chapman defense in the first half and the Claremont defense in the second half?
It's a possibility right now. Very, very close. You know, you see that score, you think, oh, they'll be fine. But nothing is ever guaranteed.
You never want to get comfortable.
Jacob takes it himself again. We've talked about this, very mobile. We saw him a lot passing in the first half. Starting this off, just taking it, running it himself. Maybe carrying the ball gives him a little bit of confidence, build it up a little bit before we continue on. You see here, kind of finds a lane, makes man miss, but ultimately just kind of brought down. You can hear these fans. Gonna keep himself again. Tries to reach for every single inch possible.
Ultimately brings up 4th and short. Special teams is going to be coming on. Owen Tapia ready to punt it away.
This is not the type of drives you wanted to see the offense come out here with, especially after that electric first half. You know, that touchdown to send you into the locker room. You want more, you need more. Snap is kind of high. Hard hits. Ultimately brought down Feisty.
Oh my word, but before that we had a big stop by the Claremont defense. Just grabbing that leg of Pacheco, not letting him go.
Absolutely not. You can't let up. Either defenses, you cannot let up on these teams, because as soon as you underestimate a team, they'll make you regret it.
Exactly, and we saw there on that punt return, things were getting chippy, things were getting heated. A big conglomeration of people, and it results in another Chapman player down on the field. Not something you want to see, especially as you're getting towards the end of this third quarter.
I mean, you know, we're you know, unhappy about an injury, not only just, you know, as fans of a game, but also for the players. You never want to see someone hurt, whether they're your own team or the other team. You don't want to see a player down, and you just hope for the best.
Yeah, we're seeing massive signs of respect just from the crowd, from these Chapman players, taking the knee, keeping that silence going, just making sure that these members are all right, because they are playing a game, but these are real people too.
Just want to make sure he comes up off the field, that nothing is terribly wrong. You see him starting to get up now under his own power. That's number 41
Luke
for Chapman.
Smith. Glad to see it's not as severe of an injury as was with Isaiah Munoz, and we don't know the severity of an injury ever. We can see if they're helped off, if they're not helped off, and for Luke Smith to be able to get up on his own, that is wonderful news. And for Isaiah Munoz, we can hope that it was just a hard hit.
Unfortunately, again, the defense has to just go through it and keep going. Games, unfortunately, don't stop.
They don't. So it gives the Chapman Panthers an opportunity to reset their defense and gives Walter Kuhlenkamp an opportunity to make big plays, but that right there was not one of them.
Nope. It was broken up. Almost intercepted right there. Again, we talked about in the first half, Kuhlenkamp has a history of interceptions. We've seen one here today that resulted in a pick 6. So, do you trust him to throw it in the air?
Yes and no, because we saw it work at the beginning of this third quarter, but we see on his history, he's had an interception almost once every game. So if you're Kuhlenkamp, it's about how much trust you have in your arm.
You see there, number 4 or 5, Justin Edwards. We've talked about him a lot today again. Go-to guy for Kuhlenkamp, just runs hard.
It's third down once again for these Claremont Stags. We've seen them come up on third down, even fourth down. I have to think that they're gonna go for it no matter what.
In this type of game, that's just kind of what you have to do. You just have to trust the players around you to make plays. Got to toss it out. And it's caught. Number 19 on CMS. Bryce Desjardins. Absolutely incredible. Able to just lift his arms up, get a little bit of height, come down with it.
Right up the middle of the field, finding that open space, exploiting that weak spot in that Chapman defense, and just getting them right down to the 40-yard line.
They're going to be tossed off again. Couple yards here on a run. And we have a flag.
Not too many of those this game. So we're waiting anxiously to see what the call is. And if you're a Chapman Panthers fan, you're hoping that it benefits your team.
Definitely, definitely. Just, you know, waiting for the refs. Gotta make sure that they call the right things.
After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct, number 2, Claremont. 15-yard penalty. Second down.
And that's exactly what you want if you're Chapman. 15 yards for CMS, bringing it back just when they have some more momentum going. Stifled.
Absolutely brings them back behind the 50-yard line, back into their own territory, gives the Chapman defense a little bit of a chance to regroup. If you're those corners, if you're those safeties, you can kind of reevaluate, try and make sure that they don't have such an open lane to go to, and try and stuff Kuhlenkamp.
Let's see what Kuhlenkamp does here. A lot of tools at his disposal. He tosses it. Ultimately just can't come down with it. That's number 20.
Anderson Sincar, once again, he's had some great conversions, but he's also had some drops in this game.
Usually a go-to guy for Kuhlenkamp, and we've seen it here. Unfortunately, the connection is just not clicking into place today.
But nothing can be said too early. You don't want to call a game before it's happened.
Definitely. We see they're going to go for it on fourth down.
A long third down. 19 yards. And just out to nowhere. No flag on the play for them either.
Again, trying to go to Sincar. Maybe that's something they need to try a little less of, not get so repetitious.
That's something we've talked about for this Panthers team. teams kind of figuring them out in the second half. This Chapman team has really done well adjusting their style of play to make it not so predictable and even forcing their teams to do exactly that, be predictable.
Yeah, we're going to see a fair catch here. Right around the 17-yard line here. Again, just protecting the ball. We don't need you to go out and try to be a hero. You need your offense to do that for you. Just kind of getting the ball where you get it and letting your offense do the rest.
Absolutely. 8 seconds left in this third quarter. Coming up on the final quarter of the game, what do you want to see if you're Chapman in these final seconds of play on this quarter?
You definitely don't want to give this defense any sort of confidence. If anything, you just want to maybe pass it a little bit, get a couple yards. Nothing fancy. Don't get too fancy. You just want to protect the ball. Gonna see a keeper here. Runs through, finds space. Breaks a couple tackles, but ultimately brought down. Pacheco really showing his stuff today.
Tyler Pacheco running up the middle, finding that space, tiptoeing around the players is going to bring us to the end of the third quarter. But right now we're going to toss it down to the field with Sophia Young to give us an update on the injury we saw earlier in this quarter. Sophia?
Thank you so much, ladies. Well, as we close out the third quarter, we have an additional injury made by Luke Smith. However, seemed to be a stinger, a simple head injury, walked off the field perfectly. He seems to be okay. But as we head into the fourth quarter, who knows what's going to happen? Ladies, back to you.
Thank you so much, Sophia. You know, we always worry about injuries, especially for Chapman. Long history of them. We just hope for the best for all of our players.
Absolutely. We see Bob Owens on the screen hoping for his first win of the 2023 season. Bob Owens, been a coach here at Chapman for the last 17 years, since 2006, led them to a SCIAC championship in 2019, really brought this team up to what they're known for today. So really hoping to take this team that's had a rough season and bring them to a victory against a team that has a perfect record so far.
This would definitely be a huge boost for Chapman, especially, as we said, with a new quarterback at the helm. Gonna keep it for himself, looks out, dumps it off, and he finds Amir Adams. Absolutely phenomenal. It's those types of connections that keeps this defense on their toes. Is he gonna run? Is he gonna dump it off to someone else? Is someone else gonna run? It's about being versatile.
Absolutely. We talked about Amir Adams at the beginning of the show. Haven't always seen those explosive plays from him, but that doesn't mean that he doesn't have them. Always look out for him. He's very mobile, can go up and down the field, and can even be a distraction to allow Tyler Pacheco to make those design quarterback runs.
Absolutely. You know, there were question marks around Pacheco coming into this game, but I think he's really held his own and shown that he has what it takes to lead this offense. And there he goes, you know, showing his stuff again. Keeps it, runs through.
Absolutely. Fake the handoff to Arcino. We've seen that move tonight, faking the handoff to your running back and just making sure that you can go right up the middle, maybe even off to the side a little bit, just finding your open lane to give yourself as much of a chance of a breakthrough as possible.
Yeah, you know, Gio Arcino, one of our key players, it's very important that he's out there, that he's able to make the defense think he's going to take it, run with it. You know, he's a bit of a threat, kind of opens up a little bit of a lane for Pacheco here. This time he does hand it off to Arcino, though, who gets a couple of yards.
It's going to bring them to third and short.
At the 46-yard line. 3rd and 2.
If you're Chapman's offense, what is going through your mind right now?
What is going through your mind is making sure that you convert. And what play are you going to do? For me, I would just keep it with Pacheco. He's been really good this drive with those design quarterback runs. but instead he hands it off to Ursino. Ursino breaks through.
Tries to stiff arm right there. Very mobile. Again, having a mobile quarterback at your disposal makes it so every single player is now a threat. The quarterback is a threat, and the defense just can't seem to handle that.
Absolutely, and it brings them the first down. We see it this time really does hand it off to Ursino. Ursino makes the most of that space, tries to stiff arm against Jacob O'Connell, gets brought down, but brings them the first down and another chance to keep on playing.
Definitely. These first downs are crucial for this team. Keeps it himself, looks downfield, tosses it out, and is intercepted.
Oh,
Number
no.
23 on CMS. Looks like he got out of bounds. Unfortunate. Daniel Bright, we talked about him a little bit before. This is not what you wanted if you are Chapman.
Not at all. We talked about Tyler Pacheco making those adjustments. He's thrown a couple of interceptions, especially in his early career as a freshman. This is the first one we've seen tonight by former Defensive Player of the Week for the Sky Conference, Daniel Bright, and just putting an absolute fork in the road, a wrench in the plan, whatever you want to call it, for this Chapman offense that was gaining momentum and looking for their second half score.
Definitely, you know, he just kind of got in front of his man, was able to read what was going to happen. Right time, right place. Gonna dump it off here. Justin Edwards gets through. Able to break through. A couple other guys reach out for as many yards as possible here.
Justin Edwards, we've talked about his versatility just out in open space, able to receive that pass. Justin Edwards, they sometimes have him line up in the starting line as a wide receiver position, and he clearly utilized that there, finding that open route for that short pass, bringing them to their second down.
The Sandman motion. Dumps it off. A little bit of a bobble. Gets through, but you have to wonder, if he didn't have that bobble, maybe he would have gotten more?
I think it's possible. That connection between Coolenkamp and Sinkar, been one they've been playing with all night, and this time it's enough to get them the first down. If you throw it enough times and it starts to stick and starts to work, then it could be dangerous.
Definitely. Again to Justin Edwards, just trying to run through. Ultimately stuffed up.
And this does bring up a question. There's 11 minutes left in this game. Chapman up by 13 points, up by 2 possessions. If they can hold them and keep this drive along, do the Claremont Stags have enough time to make up this deficit?
Anything is possible. That's a bobble right there. And that's going to go absolutely nowhere. Bit uncharacteristic, would you say, of Edwards?
Absolutely huge error by Edwards. It was in his hands, no one around him, and he just let it go, let it fall to the floor. Lucky break if you're the Chapman defense, unlucky if you're the Claremont offense.
Definitely. You know, it's a bit of a start and stop machine here. Sometimes you get long drives, sometimes you stall out. Go look.
Coolenkamp.
Brought down by number 45, Alexander Tariquez. You see him dancing there, celebrating. I'd celebrate too. Absolutely magnificent.
Huge stop on third down for Alexander Tariquez, the junior from Chino Hills, California. We've talked about him tonight, getting that pickup off that fumble and just getting that sack on Coolenkamp when the primary attempt was unsuccessful.
Yeah, I think we also have to give our props here to Cade Jordan on that, you know.
Absolutely.
We see Amir Adams. He has some room. But unfortunately, it looks like we might have a flag.
That would be just absolutely devastating for Adams if it went against this Panthers offense. Another one of his big plays stopped by a flag if it is against these Panthers.
Block in the back. Number 2, Chapman. on the return. 10-yard penalty, first down.
And that is unfortunate, would you say? And you at home got a little glimpse of what us as the commentators see up on this booth. We are watching just like you. We're watching up high in the sky. We're watching on our TVs too. And right now we're watching as this Chapman offense has to make a plan and try and make it a 3-possession game once again.
Definitely so. I mean, we've seen them trudge through the field like no other today. It's very possible for them. You can't let a flag hold you back. You can't let small mistakes hold you back from getting down the field, taking away your confidence.
Here we go.
Good keep again, goes up through the middle, but it's not successful.
Pacheco gets a few yards for the Panthers offense on this first down. Pacheco really starting to keep the ball, going back to what he's comfortable with, or what we've seen him be comfortable with in previous games, kind of going on plays that have been designed and proven to work, but sometimes once they start to be figured out, those plays need to be adjusted and you need to make a different plan of attack.
Absolutely, you know, you just hope that interception didn't shake his confidence a little bit because he's been playing pretty well tonight. Yes, mistakes, but otherwise pretty well.
Absolutely, that was Isaiah Woods on the carry. Brings up a 3rd and short for them. Isaiah Woods hasn't been the primary running back. It has been Ursino today, but Isaiah Woods still deadly with the ball.
Absolutely. Now, you just wonder, what are you going to pull out? How confident is Pacheco to throw this? Again, after having an interception, it's all the more telling what happens after than the actual interception.
One thing for sure, though, if you are the Panthers, you want to keep the ball in your position. With just over 8.5 minutes to go, you want to drain this clock as much as possible to give these Stags as little opportunity to score.
Keeps himself, is going to run through, trying to push through. Doesn't make it, though. Looks like we're going to have a 4th down.
Brought down by Joey Asta at the 49-yard line.
That was Joey Asta with the takedown, just about a yard short for these Panthers. Do you go for it or do you bring out your special teams? It looks like they're bringing out.
It looks like they might go
they might
for
be going for it.
This is the type of stuff you want to see. You want to see how adversity affects a team.
Absolutely. These players getting the crowd hyped, cheering them on. Here we go, 4th and short.
Looks like a timeout called by Claremont. Maybe they weren't quite ready for what was being cooked up in this kitchen.
Now, Angelique, what do you do if you're this Chapman offense? You've been playing the run game so far, having Pacheco run these designed QB runs. Do you keep going for that on this 4th and short, or do you risk it and throw it?
Personally, I say you throw it. You get reliable, you get, you know, you have your tells, or they know what you're gonna do, and they're gonna stuff you up. Of course, it is a couple yards, maybe a yard short, so you could run it, but you wanna make a statement here tonight that you have all the confidence in your quarterback, and nothing says that like letting him rip it down the field.
Absolutely. This would be a huge notch in Tyler Pacheco's belt. Getting this win, his first time as a starter against this Claremont team, just absolutely a high-pressure situation for him to come out on top of. Here we go. This crowd is ready for it. Are you ready for it, Angelique?
I don't think I am. Let's see what this brings here. Little run around. It's going to keep it. It's going to push through.
Was it enough?
Looks like a first down here. All the confidence, Pacheco. You know, maybe it's good they didn't take my advice. You know, good thing they didn't hear me. I'm not play calling.
Absolutely. Pacheco kept the ball did what he knows he can do, used his legs, worked through that stuff, and just got through with enough force to make sure that the Panthers got this first down, and most importantly, keeps the ball and keeps the clock running.
You know, they say pressure makes diamonds. Maybe this pressure is going to make a diamond here for Chapman.
I would love to see it. First down for the Panthers.
He's going to hand it off. Number 21 gets stuffed up, though, ultimately.
Isaiah Woods on the carry. Chapman running up the middle a lot in this drive. This Claremont defense kind of seeing that they're playing a running game, going right towards that middle with them. If they're going to adjust, maybe go out to the sides, but then again, those safeties could come in, give them just as little of an opportunity to run through.
Yeah. We see here a lot of running right now. Again, confidence. Confidence is key. And having confidence in Pacheco to use his body or to run is going to be a big thing right now.
Absolutely.
Charge timeout, Chapman. They have 1 remaining in the half.
Here we see a timeout called for Chapman.
Absolutely. And another thing, we've talked about it, timing. That's another reason to keep the ball on the ground. Keep the clock running, keep the players inbounds, make sure that there's no chance for that clock to stop, because right now, Chapman can rest on that lead that they established in the first half, that 20-point lead. 13-point lead right now, but still a 2-possession lead. So if they can keep this ball and get another score on top of it, that would be absolutely golden for the Panthers, and silver for Claremont. Usually gold and silver pretty good, but when there's 2 teams, first wins, second loses.
Yeah, maybe we just call it a bronze.
A bronze?
A bronze. We just skip silver altogether.
Oh, justice for silver, Angelique. It's a beautiful color.
I didn't say anything is wrong with silver. I just said it's a bronze for CMS.
That's true. For CMS, it would be their first loss of the season, bringing them to 4-1. For the Panthers, it would bring them their first win, making them 1-3, and giving them a chance to end this losing streak. The Panthers have not gone 0-4 in a very long time.
Ultimately, whether they win or lose, Chapman has showed that they can face through the adversity and make plays. And that's a play being made right there by Pacheco, keeping it to himself, making plays, absolutely golden stuff.
And keeping it on the field, keeping that clock running.
Absolutely. You know, smart tactics here by Pacheco. Everything that you want to see. You know, you go into this game a bit nervous if you're a Chapman fan. You haven't really seen him start at all. But this is just proving that things are looking up.
Things are looking up here. They do have to keep it going. There are still 5.5 minutes left in this clock. A lot of time to play, but if you're the Claremont Stags, you have to get this Chapman offense off the field if you have any chance of closing this gap.
Keeps it again, runs through, gets the yardage.
Pacheco really taking this offense and carrying it quite literally himself.
Absolutely. We know he has so many playmakers around him. And again, that's what makes everything about this Chapman offense right now a threat. We see that he's keeping it a lot, but he's also switching it up when it matters.
Mm-hmm. And he's not going the same routes. He's not just going right up the middle, because we've seen when he does that, he can get stuffed. And this defense is going to have to make adjustments, and they're going to have to make adjustments fast.
We talked a lot at the beginning of this game about the CMS defense, you know, very important piece of the puzzle here. And right now, they stuff up 21.
Isaiah Woods right there on the carry.
Ultimately, a couple yards out of it.
Going to bring up 3rd and short once again for these Panthers.
Gonna have a timeout here by Claremont. What do you think they're going to talk about in that huddle, Zoe?
I think they're going to talk about how to stop Pacheco. Pacheco has kept this ball and carried it himself, and he's made his way past this defense. He's He spun past them. He's almost leapt through them. And he's just keeping these Panthers alive and not giving them any chance to close this gap.
If you're the Chapman offense right now, you have to be happy with Pacheco's performance right now. Absolutely astounded. A couple hiccups here and there, nothing that can't be washed over with a touchdown.
Absolutely, and it was Pacheco who got them their last touchdown very late in the second half with that designed run. Can he do it again? Well, that's for us to find out right here on the Chapman Sports Broadcasting Network.
Gonna see a shotgun. Gonna fake a handoff, keep himself again. Gets through, and that's gonna be a first down for Chapman.
Big third down conversion right there. Brings him right around the 20-yard line. Brings them in dangerous territory. Also brings them in field goal territory. We mentioned Ken Byral. Tonight he broke the all-time record for field goals for the Chapman Panthers. He could add to his record again with that first down conversion.
Again, we see Pacheco just find space. He's so good at just finding a space that he can just get his body through. Strong arming it.
Tyler Pacheco, sophomore. Let's remind everyone, sophomore. Only his second year with the Panthers. Starting that play again. This time hands it off to Isaiah Woods and just absolutely brought down.
Brought down by Addison Redinger.
We've got another timeout by Claremont. You know, you don't want this clock to keep running if you're Claremont. You want to be able to have enough time to try and get it down the field on your turn.
Absolutely, but time is running out and Claremont uses their final timeout. So if they are able to get this ball back and hold this Chapman offense, they will not be able to stop the clock on their own drives unless they get out of bounds.
Yeah, and if you're Chapman, you're pretty content just running this clock out if you can. Of course, a touchdown is always sweeter, but making sure you're staying this close to winning is most important.
Absolutely, and with a field goal, it would bring the Panthers up by 16, which is technically still a two-possession game, but a very difficult two-possession game. It would require the Claremont offense in less than 4 minutes to get 2 touchdowns and 2 two-point conversion plays, which is very difficult to do. So if you're the Chapman offense, you have to be happy about your field position right now.
Definitely. And we talked earlier about my interview with Gio Orsino. I asked him about Tyler Pacheco and, you know, how this would be different from maybe the past games. And he said that Pacheco is a deceptively tough runner and that he is excited to see what happens here. We see it handed off to Amir Adams. He finds space. He's going to try and rough and tumble it through.
Amir Adams brought down right by the 10-yard line. Not a play that we've seen too often, which is what we wanted for this Chapman team. We wanted them to not be predictable. We've said that word often today, and it's because they've defied our expectations. Throwing it back to Amir Adams, your number one wide receiver, absolutely brilliant. We see that again, just throwing it right back.
Again, as I was saying, Gio has a very good outlook on this team, this offense. He's been doing it a while, and they have a lot of confidence in Pacheco right now.
And it shows as he goes right up the middle once again.
Pacheco on the carry. Brought down on the carry Chamberlain.
We see here they're pretty content, Chapman, to just run down the clock. 2 minutes, almost 30 seconds left. What can you really get done in this time if you're Claremont?
If you're Claremont, at this point, you have to hold them to a field goal. It still keeps you within 2 possessions. If they get a touchdown right now, it brings it within 3 possessions with 2 minutes left, and this Chapman offense not being outscored in the second half like we talked about so often.
Yeah, you know, we've seen a lot of different phases of Chapman football, but a second half being this successful, maybe no points per se, but successful in keeping their adversary at bay.
But those points are right there, knocking on the door. They're walking right up. They're on the step. They can feel the doormat wiping the mud off their feet. All they have to do is knock.
I love that description. Absolutely. Let's see if someone answers that door.
And if someone does, I would bet money that it would be Tyler Pacheco. We've seen him really take charge in the second half. But it could also be Isaiah Woods. Isaiah Woods has been just a dominant force this second half. Tyler Pacheco handing it off to him, faking the handoffs to him, and it gets them a couple more yards on this second down.
Again, almost a minute here left of play. They're so close to one last touchdown before the end. But overall, this is just successful if you're Chapman. You know, going into this, maybe you had your doubters, you had your questioners, but today you silenced them.
Absolutely. If you're Chapman, do you just take the knee?
I mean, you could, but you also have to make a statement.
And there it is, the knee by Pacheco. And the Chapman Panthers, for the first time this season, are leaving Wilson Field victorious, led by Tyler Pacheco.
Absolutely, Pacheco just dominating. You know, we saw mistakes on his part, but as a first-time starter in the Chapman offense, I'd say it's pretty good.
I would say it's more than pretty good. I'd say this Chapman team has a lifeline, and his name is Tyler Pacheco.
Oh, definitely. Always good to add more weapons to your offense. You know, you have Drew Orsino, you have Amir Adams, you have a lot of threats. Just another one to add to the list.
Absolutely. This game was decided in the first half, but we didn't know it yet, and the dagger was that design QB touchdown by Tyler Pacheco right there at the end, brought them from a 2-possession lead to a 3-possession lead that they were able to hold, keeping the Claremont Mudscript Stags to just 7 points this game, which is unheard of for them this season.
Definitely. So we talked about the points per game for CMS versus Chapman, and you know, a lot of CMS fans probably wrote this game off. Oh, they don't have a win. Chapman makes you regret that now.
Absolutely. I bet that this Chapman locker room is going to be hyped tonight.
I'm definitely hyped. And to talk more about this amazing win, we have Sophia Youngs down on the field with our MVP.
Ladies, a win is a win. We're here with Tyler Pacheco. Oh my goodness. Well, you played amazingly. Let me just say, how are you feeling?
Oh man, I appreciate that. I feel great. It's first W. I'm just pumped to be out here. Just pumped to be out here, to be honest.
I'm pumped that you're here too. You know, this is your first real game as the new quarterback. Right. Did you feel any pressure, any stress? What was going through your mind throughout the game?
I mean, of course, I was anxious. Just ready to go. It was just so much fun to get out there and play some football.
Of course. Well, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Of course. Back to you, ladies.
Thank you, Sophia. You know, always good to hear from him. Absolutely like a stunner of a game. Amazing.
Absolutely. We talked about him as a mobile quarterback. He had over 130 rushing yards this game, but also he had just over 100 passing yards this game. Just an incredible feat for him, showing his versatility and showing he is indeed capable of leading this Panthers team.
Definitely, you know, it's just so impressive to see him come out here on his first start and bring some sort of hope, lifeline to this team, ultimately just bringing up great feelings for this team.
Absolutely. We saw him with his team feeling hype. We're feeling hype up here in the booths. I think we want to relive that second half where the Chapman Panthers got their first win of the season.
Definitely. You see here just gonna run it in.
That was Hunter Headley.
Absolutely incredible. This defense put on a master class.
Absolutely. We talked a lot about Tyler Pacheco, but not enough can be said about the defense and Hunter Headley and Ken Byrell. A historic night for him with becoming the all-time leading field goal scorer for the Chapman Panthers of all time. So the first win and making history, that sounds pretty good to me, Angelique.
There's a lot to celebrate out there tonight. You know, defense, offense, special teams, you need everything to work together to be able to have a good night.
Absolutely. And here was that play, that rush touchdown by Tyler Pacheco, the creme de la creme for this Chapman team tonight.
Yeah, he very much made sure that people would remember him after this game.
Absolutely. And here was the one time that the Claremont Stags created a little bit of discourse for this Chapman team. Walter Kuhlenkamp getting that touchdown as well, but it wasn't enough to stop this Chapman team today.
No, it wasn't. And with that win for the Chapman Panthers, that makes it football, soccer for men, soccer for women, and water polo. A victorious day for your Chapman Panthers. Absolutely golden all around.
A clean sweep. They say that silence is golden, but tonight the Chapman Panthers roared louder than anyone else, victorious all around, their first win for football here at home at Wilson Field. Let's see if they can keep it going. It's been a blast covering this game with you, Angelique.
Oh, absolutely amazing. My heart's been racing this entire game. I think yours has too, huh?
Oh, 100%.
Well, I think that's all the winning we're going to do for tonight, you know?
I think so, but it has been amazing for us tonight, and we thank you for joining us here on the Chapman Sports Broadcast Network. I'm Zoe Franklin, your color commentator for the evening. Angelique Ramirez, your play-by-play commentator. Thank you to everyone on this broadcast, our producer, Stephen Hogenkamp, our director, Justin Lee, all our camera operators, our sideline reporter, Sophia Youngs, everyone here at CSBN. We thank you for watching and joining us tonight.
And for all of our games today. This is us signing off.